Hey, what is up, YouTube? What is up, Christianology family? So we have a video of a woman that got pregnant, I think 6 times with like multiple baby daddies, and is now a doctor. And we're gonna listen to some of her story and how she got herself into that situation. The thing I've been saying is that relationships are really important, and women need to focus on that more, at least for a while. Like, try to get as much education in relationships from the right sources before going to get a doctorate or whatever it is that you're getting in that college, because college is not going to prepare you for a relationship. You had 6 kids by multiple men. I think that brings a lot of headache, frustration. Like, it just messes up your whole life, because now you have to take the kids to this dad, you got to take the other kids to this dad, you got to find a stepdad, you got to do this, that. You see all the stressful things because the person did not learn how to be in a relationship. So this is her story right here.
By 3 different men.
What she say? My fault.
So by the time I was 25, I had 6 children by 3 different men.
She has 6 children by 3 different baby daddies. And this is a woman that's a doctor, okay? So this is one of the smartest, right? Smartest, okay? Smartest still doesn't know how to pick a good man. You see how important relationships are? Especially if you're not going to be abstinent, you're not going to be celibate, you're going to still sleep around. You have to understand a relationship. You have to understand that having kids with multiple people is not always the best strategy, okay? It's not always the best strategy. And especially someone that is a doctor, you should... A society puts you up with your intelligence level, okay? So it's like, why aren't people not prioritizing being or studying relationships before studying other things that are not meaningful or meaningless? Being a doctor is meaningless. It's not really nothing. It's like, okay, you're a doctor, but you don't have a family. Like, are you going to pick being a doctor over having a wife and kid and having a good, stable family, having a generation? Right? Would you pick the doctor or that? So which one is more important? Family, obviously, not a job. Being a doctor is just for money, okay? There's nothing wrong with being a doctor, because we all have to do something to make a living. If you don't work, you don't get fed. The Bible says that.
Yes. And so now I have 10. And that is because I had 6 when I met my husband. Mm-hmm. He had 2, and then we had 2 together.
Okay. Let's just pause for a moment, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, statistically speaking, this is not supposed to happen.
Right.
You had all these kids, and you still got married.
Yes. Still found love, or love found me.
You still found. I want to go back for a second. You said that you were 16, you had a kid, and then you went to Howard.
Mm-hmm.
Did you bring the kid with you, or did the kid stay home?
The kid stayed home. So my daughter stayed home with my mom.
Okay.
My mother took care of her.
Right.
She was going to take care of my second child, and I said no. This is the bed that I lied in, literally.
Is that accountability? I smell accountability on a woman, a black woman?
Yes.
Oh my God. What is the world coming to?
I'm shocked too.
Yeah.
I'm shocked
so,
too.
The second kid, Howard, and
then I had my 3rd child, and then my 4th child, and like I said, 5th and 6th.
So during that time, what are you doing? What are the men doing? What's going through your head?
It goes back to my childhood, of not having my father in my life.
No dad, right?
And so now I know it was looking for love in all the wrong places. I was searching for what I didn't have, which was that love from a man, beginning with a girl and her father. I didn't have that. So I know now, as an adult, as a woman, that's what I was looking for, but I wasn't getting it. So you think that these men love you,
but they just want your body. I
wouldn't even say men, because like I said, they're boys. They were boys. I was a girl. They were boys.
Let's talk about it. These men get such a bad rep, right?
Yeah.
But we choose them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And they say that women are more mature, right?
Right.
But we chose that
You
boy.
chose the bad guy.
Right. Yes. All the signs were there. The red flags were there.
Can you walk us through some of them? Some of those red flags?
Giving you an STD.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry, what now? Sorry, what was that?
Yeah.
Okay.
When you're 16 years old.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going on. And you go to the health department to find out that you have a sexually transmitted disease. What does that tell you?
The person that you were sleeping with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But you are so blinded by what you think is love. You want to raise this boy to be a man, and you can't do that. You can't do that. So by the time you have children, now you just want the family, right? You want the family that you dream of, that you didn't have. And so you stay, and you stay, and you stay. And before you know it, you look up, you got 6 kids with 3 different men. So again, it goes back to poor choices.
Poor choices. Let's talk about some of these women.
Wow, I'm actually shocked that she's taking accountability, man. That's actually crazy. That's great. Shout out to her, man. Shout out to her. What's her name? Mrs. Ebony Graceham. Shout out to you for taking accountability, because a lot of women be like, it's not my fault. It's just the man. It's just the man. It's just the man. It's just the man. They kept getting me pregnant, but you kept going to that bed and you kept on opening your legs. So thank you, ma'am, for accepting accountability. Woo! God is good.
This generation, I don't know, Z. We're older.
Right.
We're wiser. We know back then that it was very difficult to correct women. How can we correct the mistakes of the women that are literally, they're going through this stuff now? How do we do that? Because you've got the red, sexy reds and the, I don't even know these girls' names, but
Lotto, Cardi B,
right?
Megan Thee Stallion,
that you lived.
Doja Cat.
Girl, I mean, literally, you do not look like.
Oh, thank you.
How do
Ice Spice.
It starts first and foremost with yourself, taking accountability, going back into your past and realizing where you made the mistake, right? Being that person that you would have wanted at that time, that sister, that support system, to let you know, hey, you're going down the wrong path. See, I was an only child, so I didn't have siblings, or there were no aunts and grandmothers there. You know, going back to, it takes a village. It really does, you know. And then just getting to a place where we're not so big on just judging one another, but really helping and supporting. So I'll give an example. When I had my children, my family would talk about me, right? Oh, here's Ebony with all these kids. She's having more children and blah, blah, blah. But why not just help? Why not help? You know, if you see a need, help, support, you know? And like you said, with this generation, they don't want to be judged. And they should not be, because we don't know what they had to go through, what they were coming up, you know, dealing with. Some of the same issues. There's no father in the home. There's a single mother. You know, they're in foster care and foster system and different things like that. So it goes to, just like I said, supporting. Education is really important, and supporting, and not being judgmental, but really being truly genuine and providing support.
That's true.
We don't even have the grandmothers anymore in the home. You know, there's no more grandmothers in the family. They're either passing on. They're 30 years old. I mean, I'm 43. I could be a grandma. Thank God that I'm not, but I could. You know, my oldest child is 27, and so we don't have that wisdom there anymore. We don't have, you know, grandma, or, you know, whatever, you know, you called your grandmother, big mama, to tell you, girl, you're not wearing that lipstick going out here, girl, you too young to have, you know, that hair down your back. We need that again, because nowadays girls are 7 years old wearing lipstick on TikTok
and weave
and weave, piercings, booty cheeks hanging out. Have the booty cheeks it's on the floor. It's on the floor. Tattoos, belly piercings. What else? They even selling themselves online. They're selling their feet pics. They're selling their bodies. Crazy, man.
And weave. You know,
weave.
Fully developed. 12
Breast, everything.
Looking like they're 25.
Right.
Come on now. So we need to have that in our community. We need that back in our community.
Why are Black women not accountable? Why don't they hold themselves accountable? I know that you said a little bit about, you know, culture, family, absent father, but, you know, they're older now.
Right.
Why are they not still taking account? Why are we not taking accountability?
I think it's the illusion. It's the illusion. Social media, it's an illusion. Everybody wants to seem like they're perfect, you know? And so with that being stated, you don't want to tell the truth. So if you're not being truth and honest with yourself, then what does that make you? A lie. right? And so you're not being accountable for the things that you have done because you haven't even realized the things that you have done. You haven't held yourself accountable. And then you have to forgive yourself for the things that you did do. But the illusion makes you believe that, oh, I didn't do anything. There was nothing wrong with what I did, you know? Or like I said, just the falseness of it never happened.
Wow.
And it did.
And it did. How are you different when it comes to your children compared to another one? And which you may not know, most of our audience, I grew up on foster care.
Oh, wow.
And I went into foster care when I was 6, and I stayed until I was probably 18. My dad ended up having to become a foster parent to get me back when I was 16. But my mom, I'm the oldest of 13.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
And you're talking about my mom, no accountability, didn't graduate from high school, didn't get a driver's license, stayed on welfare, 3rd generation welfare, raised my sister, so lives with my sister's on welfare too. So there's all of this stuff, and there's no accountability. And the problem is she sees her mother doing it, and then her mother sees, you know what I mean? And then her child sees her.
Right.
And it's a continuation, a cycle of a problem. How do we fix it? Oh my God. How do we fix it? So my question is, why are we not accountable? I know, again, social media, but how can we be accountable? What does that look like?
It looks like getting therapy.
Ooh.
Getting therapy, healing from your past traumas. You know, again, like I said, it's the illusion of nothing is wrong with me when it is. You know, I think for me, I wasn't able to actually get therapy when I was younger, and when I had my children growing up, I was in survival mode. You know, and when you're in that mode, you're just doing, you're just going, you're going. And especially for me to have my children, and that was all that they had, I had no choice but to keep going. You know, but for me, and I think going back to that accountability is I knew I wanted more. I knew I deserved more. I knew my children deserved better. And in order to do that, I would have to do better. What is it that I want to instill in them? I didn't want to give them that legacy of you're going to be a teenage parent. I don't want to leave them that legacy of you're going to be on welfare. You know, have I been on welfare? Yes, I had to. You know, that was that security blanket that I needed for a moment. But after a while, I threw that blanket off and I'm like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to shine. Let's rock and roll. You know, I needed that safety net, and that's okay to need that for a moment. But to just stay on it, absolutely not. Holding myself accountable first. Because once you know who you are and whose you are, I don't need what the system is giving me. That is just temporary. That was a temporary place for me to be in.
Okay. I feel you.
Yes.
This is a real question now. You had 6 kids and then 8 kids. There's so many women that were like you.
Right.
Now you're married. What made you so different? What made your story so different? And what did you learn?
I think what made my story different is that I didn't let my circumstances hinder me. I didn't. Even when I met my husband, I was ashamed of where I was. But one thing I told him, and he remembered, is this is not who I am, and I won't be here long. So yes, you met me on welfare, you know, 6 kids in a 2-bedroom apartment. He didn't know, but I had just come from being homeless with my children. You know, he later found that out.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
There was one instance where he picked me up from my job, and they had the stopper on the car where if you don't pay your car note, they'll
The
put
boot.
the device on
My
it.
staff members had that. Yeah.
Where because my credit was so bad, so I had to go to one of the little second,
Yeah,
you know,
pay here by here, yeah.
right. And so I had to call him, you know, and this is when we're dating. I had to call him and I said, I need you to come pick me up. I was so embarrassed.
Oh, God.
I was so embarrassed. And he came to get me, and I had to explain to him I didn't pay my car note because I didn't have the money. And of course he paid it, you know, but at that time we had to go pick up my kids from daycare because it was right when I got off of work. You know, at the time I was working as a medical assistant, probably making $10, $11 an hour, you know. But again, I knew I wanted more. I just needed time. I just needed time to get it together, right? And make a plan, a strategic plan of how are you getting out of this mess. And that was nursing school.
Wow.
That was nursing school.
So that was the life-changing thing.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing. That's
Thank
an amazing
you.
story.
Yeah.
So now you're a nurse. What made you want to get your doctorate?
Good question. So there's a story behind that as well.
I'm ready.
So with me going to Howard University, I went to Howard to become an OBGYN.
Okay.
That was what I wanted to do. because I dropped out of college and my mother never saw me become a doctor. My mother is now deceased. Okay, so she passed away over 18 years ago from lung cancer. But I just said to myself, you will see me become a doctor. And so that was me. That was a tribute to my mom. Me walking that stage and them pronouncing me as Dr. Ebony Gresham. So for me, it was personal. You know, to some people, it's just for the name. It's just for the title. For me, it was personal.
You're married now. What does the life look like before versus now? And a lot of women out there are single. Can you speak to the joys of marriage versus singlehood? Because they got y'all out here thinking that y'all can be single until you're 65, but you're going to be lonely.
You're going to be lonely. That's a fact.
The before, so I was an only child. So there are some pros of being single. And I would say for me, it's just having that you time, you know, being away.
Yeah,
you know,
that's true.
But you're not really away if you got kids. So you have to kind of steal time away, you know. But the loneliness does come in, you know, and you want that companion, right? So the now, I have that companion. For example, coming here today, I'm like, you got to drive. I need you to drive for me, you know. So it's your pastor, it's your best friend, he's your social worker, your doctor, you know, your chauffeur, your Uber. Like being that person there to carry that burden that you used to carry. Now saying, give it to me. I got
share the load.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a big difference. You know, a lot of times we try to be that strong single Black woman. Why?
Yeah.
Why would you want to be strong and
God
single?
said to me, you don't have to carry that. I've given you a helpmate. And so the now is just the grace and the mercy and the love, you know, that I get from him. Even coming in, stepping in, taking care of 6 children that were not his. That's a lot of kids.
Just give it up for that.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of children.
He's not paying attention.
That cannot be me.
That alone,
That's
sir.
a lot of kids.
That's a lot of kids. That's a lot of kids.
And it drove him crazy.
I'm sure he did.
They did. They're older now.
they did.
I remember my 24-year-old. She said, "Mom," and she told him, she said, "Dad, I think we drove you crazy, didn't we?" And I was like,
Yeah.
But he stayed.
He stayed.
You know, he stayed through the good, through the bad, and the ugly. He stayed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what sort of things can women look for in a mate now? So you're a grown up. We talked about when you were, you know, dating boys. You're dating a man now.
Little
What's
boys.
the difference between the boys and the men? Help these kids.
I'm gonna try. So I would say the difference is he sacrifices for you. He sacrifices for you.
Wow.
A boy is not gonna do that, right? A boy is looking for what you can do
For
him.
them.
A man
Every
is
time.
looking to
That's
do
true.
for you, and that's that true sacrifice. Being a provider, right? Providing you the things that you need as his woman, right? A protector, protecting you. And I'm not just talking about security protecting your heart, protecting your soul, protecting your spirit. You know, my husband prays for me. I can call him and say, "Hey, I'm getting ready. Today I was going somewhere. I said, I need you to pray for me." You know, interceding with you when you need that the most. That is what a man is supposed to do for you, right? That's what you're looking for, that sacrifice. A man that says, I don't have all the answers, but I'm gonna go to God and I'm gonna get it. Having that spiritual connection is most important. It's most important because for me, being a strong alpha female, I need a man that I know I can trust, right? And I can follow.
I love that. Now we talked about the boys and men. Let's talk about the girls and women. You were a girl. You made some choices.
Yeah.
Now you're a woman.
Right.
What's the difference? What are the differences now between that girl from yesterday? And there's a lot of women that think they're women, but they're operating like a girl. Let's talk about it.
It's a big difference.
Explain.
You see those red flags, you know, you see them, acknowledge them. You know that they're there.
That's the difference.
That's a difference. It's a major
That's a huge difference.
So doing something about it.
doing something. Put some action behind it, you know. And again, going back to the accountability, like we talked about, be accountable. Getting the healing that you need. Stop trying to look for a man, right? And you heal first and let that man find you. But let him find you whole and healed versus you taking and carrying that trauma from relationship to relationship to relationship. That is the difference. You know, you can only find what you attract. And so when you're whole, right, and you're healthy, you're going to attract the same thing. When I was a young girl, I wasn't healed. Hence why I was attracting the men that I was attracting. And when I look back,
that part. I'm sorry, continue.
when I look back though, they had similarities.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
But then when I look at myself in the mirror, this is what you were attracting.
Yeah.
They had different faces, different names, but their spirits were the same. I attracted that. I did. So then you look and you say, it's not them, it's me.
It's you. Yep.
It's me.
She got it, y'all.
Three baby daddies, you definitely the problem. It is what it is, man. You definitely the issue. And a lot of women don't think there's the issue. you think the man is the issue, but you're choosing them. The man has to be like, hey, I want you, and you have to say yes or no. If you choose yes, and you know all the red flags, and you still choose them, then you're the problem, man. You are.
That's real.
That's what accountability looks like. That's intense. Because I think that people don't realize, they want to blame the other sex.
Right.
But you attract what you are, not what you're not.
Right.
You attract what you are. So if you're getting crap, that's because you are.
You're full of crap.
Crap,
You
right?
know?
Yeah. Because you'll have women talk about, well, these baby daddies, they're disappearing, they're not da-da-da-da. You attract what you are, honey.
You chose them.
You chose them.
You chose to
One
open your
of
legs.
my children's fathers, when I met him, he was lying to me. But again, I got my blinders on. I want to just be with him for whatever reason. He's funny. He's cute. Girl, when you look back, he lied to you from the beginning.
From the very beginning.
The very beginning. You know?
Wow. I could talk about this all day. We have to bring.
I'm not even gonna lie. She's actually really. That's a great interview. Y'all should go check the interview out. It's Smitty ND. So Smitty ND. Y'all go check the channel out. This is Dr. Ebony Gresham. Okay, y'all go check the YouTube channel out. Great video, actually. I'm actually shocked that she actually took responsibility for her actions. Right? See what God could do in your life when you allow Him to work in your life. All right. Thank you guys, and God bless y'all.